Okay, here comes the next A to Z. We are on Ashe the Frost Archer. Damage is physical. Style is more auto attack oriented than abilities, but still has some. Difficulty is 1, that's definitely true. Damage is, that's a lie and a half. Utilities is half, that's definitely true. Crowd control is full, that's 110% true. Iceborn War Mother of the Averson tribe, Ashe commands the most horde in the north. Sure, that's a word right there. Stoic, intelligent, and idealistic, yet uncomfortable with her role as leader. She taps into the ancient magics of her lineage to wield a bow of true ice, which her people's belief that she is the mythological hero Avorsa reincarnated. Ashe hopes to unify the Freljord once more by retaking their ancient tribal lands. Okay, that's nice. Abilities. Frost Shot. Ashe's attacks slow their target, causing her to deal increased damage to these targets. Ashe's critical strike deal no bonus damage, but apply an empowered slow to the target. No, they do bonus damage. They do damage the more slow it is. So I guess technically it goes with the first part with causing her to deal increased damage to these targets. Ranger's Focus. Ashe builds up focus by attacking. At maximum focus, she can cast Ranger's Focus to consume all stacks of focus, temporarily increasing her attack speed and transforming her basic attack into a powerful flurry attack for the duration. Volley. Ashe fires 9 arrows in a cone for increased damage to also apply Frost Shot. For increased damage? What? Hawk Shot. Ashe sends her hawk spirit on a scouting mission anywhere on the map. Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Well, that's a name. Ashe fires a missile of ice in a straight line. Why is it a missile? It'd be an arrow. If the arrow collides with an enemy champion, it deals damage and stuns the champion. Stunning for longer the farther arrow has traveled. In addition, surrounding enemy units take damage and are slowed. I was unaware of that AoE until just now. That's nice to know. But let's come back over her abilities. Ashe is stupid. Ashe is not just like a normal level of stupid. Ashe is completely ridiculous. Her passive is, okay, I'm going to shoot you once, and I'm going to keep doing more and more damage to you. And for how much you are slowed, it is ridiculous. Because her passive also goes really well with the rune Cheap Shot, which is when an enemy is impaired, the next damage does bonus. And since they're always going to be slowed as long as you auto-attacking them, you always do more damage. It is ridiculous. Now, yeah, I know that Cheap Shot's on a 2-second cooldown, but still, it is ridiculous. Then, her Q is probably one of the few abilities on her that I think is just fine. I think that it's a bit much and it hurts a ton, like right there. Like getting hit with that many arrows, and especially because it works with Hurricane and shoots little arrows for each little arrow you do. So, like, let's say 5 shots per thing. That's 15 arrows. 15 arrows onto, like, well, split up between 3, so it says 5 per target still. But still, that's a lot. And that hurts. But I do accept it because she does need to auto-attack like 4 or 5 times before she can do it. So if you can kill her before that point, or just she doesn't have it prepared by like hitting minions or anything beforehand, then you can actually just, like, she really doesn't do all that much. She still hurts, but she's not insane. Volley, I think, is stupid. It is ridiculously big, as you're about to see. Like, you can't dodge this ability. It goes very far. Each individual one can be blocked by like a minion, so if you do stand behind minions or other people, it's blocked. But at the same time, it's too much. It's way too wide, and you can't dodge it. Like, you just cannot dodge this unless you're already on the outside. Like, I agree that it really doesn't do all that much damage, but it applies a frost shot, slowing you, plus causing her auto attacks to do bonus damage to you. And just, oh, does it hurt? Does it hurt? And she can poke with this forever. Now, I will admit it does hurt her mana quite a bit to poke with this. But early on, it matters, but not that much. Like, as long as you're like using it in reason and not just spamming it, honestly, you have enough mana regen to where it really doesn't matter that much. Like, as long as you're just poking them when you get a chance and not like every second, you should be good. Hawkshot, I think, is both really strong and not that much at the same time. I disagree with it being able to go anywhere on the map, but it doesn't really show everything when it goes by. It does it in like bursts. And like it starts off just showing a line, but then the farther it gets away, the more like bursty it becomes, where it just shows an area and then goes dark and then shows an area and then goes dark and goes back and forth between the two. I still think that it should only have like a set distance, because you can just like send that down your line because towers and nothing can hit it, and or down your lane, not your line, and it'll show you like where your laners are. Like there's no way that they're going to get out that site. Even if it's going in bursts, it's still most likely see them. So I think that it should either be reduced or it should be like capable of being hit. I would like the capable of being hit thing, just because either one, that would be fun to just like watch someone kill it. That would also give away their location without actually like being seen though. Kind of like Skarner areas, that gives away like an location because you see that something happened there. You can see that the bird went away. Also, it means like a tower can shoot them, but it will also add some like counterplay possibly to her, because she can send it out in a target just to send it out, but then they could end up like accidentally clicking on it, or like it could block a skill shot, something like that. That would be kind of cool if that happened. And her alt is just stupid. Like, it's like a 1.5 second stun if it's point blank, and it gets to like I think 2.5 or something along those lines. But that's like a really far distance. It is just dumb, though. Like, I wish that it has to hit a distance to stun. Like, oh my goodness. She can just fling this at you out of nowhere. You can dodge it. It is honestly not that difficult to dodge in general. But at the same time, it's like, it's just something that can really surprise you and just ruin your day. But at the same time, if you miss or they do dodge it, it is a very bad thing for her, and that you can potentially have like a chance of getting onto her and killing her with this, or it could potentially like cause problems with a team fight or something along those lines. So with her ult, I would give it a set distance before it's stunned, so that she can't just point blank. I would just cause it to be like a normal, like an auto attack sort of deal, where it just applies frost shot and that's it. And it will slow, of course. And it will have like a heavier slow. It can be like a 60-80%, like at point blank, just to like allow, just so that it is a slow and it will cause problems. But unless it gets to a certain distance, it shouldn't really stun. It's kind of both too strong and too weak with that. But like, I prefer something to be a mix than it to be what it is currently, which is just too strong. I think that her W should definitely be changed in some sort of way. I'm not entirely sure like how you change the cone, but it's too wide. You can't dodge it. I would just like make it something that like builds up to 3 and that you can still shoot it. Like, you do the cooldown and it stacks once, and then the cooldown will go again and again until it gets to 3 stacks. And it will be like shooting this, but it will be like half the distance. So she'll only shoot like 4 or 5. We'll start it off at 4, and at level 3 it'll get to 5, and at level 5 it'll get to 6 arrows that she shoots. and it'll all just be in a cone so that it's still there, but it makes it just a little bit easier to dodge and not as much of an annoyance. Her E, I think that should just not go as far. Now, I'm not saying it should only go that distance because that'd just be stupid, but it should just not be able to go anywhere across the entire map just because that gives her too much vision. Now, it does have a really long cooldown. I will give it that. But at the same time, like, it stacks up to 2. Even if you just use it whenever you get it, it's still pretty useful. It's vision that you wouldn't have before. So I prefer if it only goes to like a set distance and that it is capable of being auto-attacked. Just to be like, let's say you fling it in the jungle and then the ADC sees it and then like hits it and then dead. Now they don't know if a gank is coming or something along those lines. Or like it's flinging into the enemy jungle and then the enemy jungle sees it and then they hit it, but it doesn't give vision. So like, you know it's there, you know they're there, but it's not like as big of an impact where you like, to where like people that are just see it disappear wouldn't really realize what's happening, but people that really understand mechanically like the game and Ashe will be like, oh, there's their jungler there, and then it will give like the jungler a little bit of bonus gold because like from killing it will give like 5 gold or something. Then her Q, I think that her Q is fine just the way it is. I think it is a wee bit annoying, and I think that it does do a good amount of damage, but she is an ADC, and it needs to do a good amount of damage. Now, time to what I hate about her, which is her passive. This is stupid. It is a stupid ability, or well, it is a stupid passive. It is just dumb in every way. Just it causes just auto attacks to increase damage. If anything, I'd make it so that her abilities put on a slow. Like all of her abilities add a slow to enemies, and hitting these enemies that are already slowed causes them to have an increase, like you to do increased damage. I think that what it should be is what it says down here, where each of her auto attacks slow. Now, if an enemy is slowed by her abilities, meaning they're hit by either her W or even her Q, let's just make it so that her E adds like a slow to any enemy that it goes over, something like that. Or just like she flings her ult, and like her Q, of course, wouldn't really be able to activate, but yeah. And each of her abilities give off frost. Like she'll have 2 parts of her passive, frost and shot. Shot will just be each upon shooting an enemy, you add a slow to them. The slow will stack however many times. If you crit the enemy, you do slight bonus damage, but you will also increase their slow. The slow will be able to go past the max if it is a crit, increasing it to like 4 or 5 times. Now, but the second part will be frost, where each of her abilities cause a slowing effect onto enemies. If you auto attack an enemy that has the slowing effect on them that is not the slowing effect from your passive, then you do bonus damage to them. Something along those lines, because this, as it is right now, is just a bit ridiculous. Now, yeah, I understand that she'll still be doing basically the same thing with that way, but at least it won't be auto attacks. Like, it'll just be her abilities. Like, let's say she shoots her W out because her W is farther than her auto attack range. She'll need to walk over to you, then auto attack you to do the increased damage. And during this time of her walking, you can either shoot a skill shot or you can engage on her. It will first force her to move to you. Like, that's a big point where Lux is vulnerable, where if she flings in a ranged ability at you, even if it hits, that doesn't necessarily, like, it does a lot of damage, but that auto attack that she gets off that she will most likely try is a good time where you can try to hit her, because you know that she's going to walk towards you to try to auto. You should either fling her back or shoot an ability or auto her instead, and like auto and then dash out of the distance if you're someone that has a dash. Like, that's just a good way of adding some counterplay. As you know, I'm all about counterplay. And just like I'm, as I said before, I'm fine with point and click slows to an extent. If the slow exceeds like 60%, it's pretty stupid. But like I think that it should at least be like a 50% slow with her new passive, just to like make it more of an impact. If that's stacked up to all 5 times with the crit. Remember I said only like 3 with like I guess 10% per auto, but that would be a bit much. So maybe like, while, as I already said, like the crit will increase the slow. So let's say you auto attack someone 5 times, and then each one was a crit. That'll get it to the 50%. But if you auto attack someone 5 times and not one was a crit, then it will only get you to like 25%. Because like it'll be decreased because none of them were crits. Because the crit also increases what the slow will be, whether it's like 5% or 7%. Let's just say I'm just using random numbers. But yeah, I think that would definitely be better than what it is right now. So let's do a real quick recap. Her passive will be changed to 2 different parts, causing her abilities to increase her auto attack damage if they land onto whatever target. Her Q will remain the exact same. Her W will stack up into 3, but will be smaller cones shooting smaller amounts of arrows. And yeah, her E will have an actual set range that it can go, and it will be able to be auto attacked or damaged via skill shot. And then her ult will have to reach a minimum range in order to stun, but no matter what range that it hits someone at, it will cause a slowing effect. Okay, let's go to skins. Oh, and then it will scale, like the slowing effect will scale with the farther distance, like her ult really is. Okay, Ashe. Then we have Freljord Ashe. Now, I like this one, but I wish it was more ice-based, or it isn't just, like, all white, and that she actually had, like, more ice on her, or something along that line. Shrewd Ashe. I think that this one is just, like, the regular Ashe screen. Like, they're very, very similar. I just don't like it because of that aspect. Plus, it kind of takes away from her lore, but I'm fine with that. Wood Ashe. Like, what is the difference between this one and this one? Like, I understand, like, physically it is different. But I mean, like, why is Woods and Shrewd Forest like, why? Like, Forest, Woods, okay, it's just pretty similar. So I don't really think this one is, like, fully necessary. Plus I really don't like the fact that she doesn't have, like, the hood. I don't know why, but I just don't like that. Queen Ashe. I don't like the skin at all. I think that she should still be more like huntress based, even as like a queen. Like she shouldn't be in like a full gown and everything. I think it should be like a huntress queen type deal, where like the hood over her head, that I still think should be on this skin as well, will be like will have like half crown. Amethyst. I like this one. I do think it looks really cool, but I wish that there was like more crystals like this on other parts of her body. There's very little. Heartseeker I like just because it's part of like the Heartseeker brand. With like all the Heartseeker skins. Marauder. This one I just wish that they added more like ice elements too. And by that, I mean, like, I wish that upon, like, the edges of this, there was, like, a little ice part. Project, I love the way the skin is. And I think that it is just fine the way it is, and that they do not need to change anything about it. Championship Ashe is the exact same way. I don't think they need to change anything about it. That's actually a little bit of a lie. I wish that they did go a little bit more ice-oriented. Like, I wish that there was a little bit more like this, like here type deal, and other like side areas. And her hair should not be blonde. It should be white. I guess it might still be white, and that might just be the sunlight, but yeah. And that is Ashe the Frost Archer. And this is a lie. And yeah, that is the A to Z of Ashe. I bid you. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa! I cannot be bidding you all adieu. If you agree or disagree with anything that I've said so far, please leave a comment naming why. I am fully for constructive criticism. If you have any better ideas or things like that, you can also leave that into the comments because, as I said, I am fully for constructive criticism. We can talk about why I like my idea, why your idea is good, why I don't like your idea, or why you don't like my idea, whatever. Um, and then last but not least, if you happen to know or you are a Riot member, please either use my ideas or contact me and, maybe discuss with me my other ideas that I can have or things like that, or the ideas that I have with the game in whole or as a whole, and just things like that. So with that, I bid you all adieu. Goodbye.